another op from another block until I give them a couple shots. When I hit the spot, we pulling up. It's something hot, showing off the rocks. I'm high chief just from the top. We can get it in though. Looking for your kinfolk. All these men in the bar, I'm with the pencil. Trying to smoke something, so at last, my last stash. I'll be smoking out the window like I caught backdraft. No turning back, I'm earning scraps and learning that I've been fired with the pen like an inferno match. Send her up to the sky, thunderclouds hit me. Show you the full gore with all killer instinct. Put him in a figure four, maybe he will listen more when I kick in the door.
Whoa, what a difference a day makes. Yeah, it's that time. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Humble Roses podcast. This is a very special day, probably the most important day, in my opinion, in the history of this podcast. I'm your host, Dallas Cash. Before I bring my co-hosts on, we want to talk about something a little deep real quick. One of our Culture Clash Network members, Cheech, his girlfriend, unfortunately, lost her mother today. Teresa Clark, unfortunately, passed away. I wanted to extend our condolences and sympathy to Lisa, Cheech, and all of Lisa's family, not only here at the Humble Roses, but at Culture Clash Network. If I can, I'd like to get a moment of silence for one Teresa Clark. Thank you. Sorry about that, but usually when we lose, somebody that's part of our family, we want to pay tribute to them. Today is speaking of paying tribute, we got to pay tribute to the cast that we have up here, and we have an all-star selection. And before we get to our beloved guest, I'd like to introduce who we have on the show. By way of Aubrey, Texas, you already know who this is. La Madrina herself, Vanessa.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Hey, Dallas.
Hey, and she didn't come alone.
I sure did not.
By way of Orlando, Florida, captain of the Live Dom Legion, got Angel Rose.
Hi.
And standing 6'9" from Cleveland, Ohio.
Ohio.
Mr. 6'9" himself, JT.
What's going on? Back once again. Representing the course, Marshall Mike's, the Humble Roses, Culture Clash Network. It's all love. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Hi, ladies.
So, man, this gentleman needs no introduction. But I'm gonna try to get the introduction out as quickly as I possibly can, but not too quick. We have a Grammy award-winning vocalist, two-time Living Color, two-time. This man made such a wave, not just in the genre of rock, because the funny thing is, he once said, well, what kind of band do you think we are? He once said that in an interview because people tried to categorize Living Color as a specific kind of band, and they couldn't, because Living Color made so many different waves and they took so many different elements of music that they combined it into this threshold of invincible Afro funk, jazz, blues, punk, not even punk, rock extraordinaire. Not only that, but the Black Rock Coalition was basically a footnote for what this band decided to do. Over the course of decades, this vocalist has been with, and I'm obviously not reading this vocalist has been with different individuals, gone to do different things, even got a stint in wrestling with CM Punk's theme. Lo and behold, throughout all that and all of the adversity that the band faced, this vocalist rose out of the occasion. Not only did he rise, he started to change a generation and influenced some of the people that we see now. One exactly was my friend, lead singer of Palace Burn, Meredith Bell. Meredith, we love you. I know you're watching the show. You should be watching that indie wrestling show, but I love you. We love you and Anton. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the legend himself, Corey Glover.
Yeah.
Wearing
you doing?
sunglasses inside at night. Yes. Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to be seen.
Hey, it is good to be seen. We're gonna start. We're gonna start right off. So I'll start, and then we'll just go down. Nessa, Angel, JT, and we'll bring it back to me. So I really want to ask this question first, because it's very important to me. You talked about, well, I want to say it was a few. I don't know how long ago this was, but there's a album, not only an album, but just basically this work of art that was called Bitches Brew by Miles Davis.
Yes.
Now, my question to you was, that had such an impact on you and your family when you heard it. Going and listening to it now, does that still stand the test of time?
Absolutely. There's stuff I hear on Bitches Brew right now that I didn't hear the first time I heard it, or the second time, or the 27th time I heard it. There are birds chirping somewhere in the background on some of these tunes. There are musical pieces that I didn't hear. It was so chock full of stuff and so dense and so intense that it's every listening is a new listening. It's like, for some folks, when they listen to some Prince albums, it's the same thing. It's the same thing when you listen to a bunch of folks. Public Enemy records have a bunch of stuff in it that you don't get until you heard it the second or third time. Even some new stuff. Childish Gambino records are chock full of stuff. The new record is amazing. The Tyler the Creator record, the new one, man, that's genius right there. That's genius. And Bitches Brew was the blueprint, really. It's like, because this was Miles reinventing himself yet again. This is like the fifth time he had done it, fifth or sixth time he had done it. And it was incredible to watch, incredible to hear.
Okay. That's good. I think, like, as I listen to it, every time that I listen to the album, I get a little bit more, like you said, more than I got the first time, because the way it was pushed on me was, hey, this has a jazz vibe to it, but you get a little bit more than jazz when you listen to it.
Absolutely.
Initially, when my grandfather had told me about this, I was like still young and in diapers, but I vibed more to jazz music. And then as I got older, I kind of went different directions, but my heart is always going to be obviously with jazz.
Right. I mean, Miles basically with that record created what we now know as jazz fusion. And to know that Miles, just Miles as an artist, has helped foster and create versions of jazz that we still study, listen to, and enjoy is incredible.
Absolutely.
So let's take it back before the music. From what I've read, you grew up an athlete, multiple athlete, baseball, football, basketball, track and field, cross country.
Not me, but but I tried. I did try. I was horrible at it. Understand? I'm not an athlete. I'm far from an athlete. I did a bunch of stuff. I did play football, but never played in the game. I was playing basketball, but was horrible at it. I did run for a minute, but was winded constantly. So I was an athlete, but I wasn't a good athlete.
So then, is that how from there it inspired you to become an actor, like wanting to pursue theater, acting?
It was better than running. How about that? I could be outside running laps, or I could be doing a production inside in the auditorium. One or the other. I picked the one that was better for me, which was inside.
So with that, with your acting, what was your dream role starting out?
The dream role I actually did play. When I was really young, I played. Yeah, that's the one. I saw Jesus Christ Superstar in a movie theater, and it changed my life. It changed my whole trajectory as to what I wanted to sing. Because when I heard Carl Anderson doing what he was doing, it's like I want to do that. I want to do that. And like 10, 20 years ago, I did a production of Jesus Christ Superstar with Ted Neely, who played Jesus in the movie and was Jesus in this production, and it was literally a dream come true. And did it for a couple of years, and just to be around that whole musical theater thing, and particularly with this show, because this show had so much iconic things going on in it, and the production was just amazing.
Excellent. I had to have the image up. I had to have the image up because I was going to get to that, because I'm like, eventually we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
So, but wait, before Angel asks her question, you had talked about, did you ever get to do Broadway yet? Because I know.
No, I've never been on Broadway. I've done Broadway productions, but never been on a Broadway stage. I'd love to be on a Broadway stage at some point. That'd be great. But for now, I'm very satisfied with where I am right now. And if it comes up, I'm ready for it.
Understood.
Okay, my turn. So,
yes.
Did you ever think after singing Happy Birthday at a friend's song that Vernon Reid would draft you as the lead singer of Living Colors?
I don't know. Let's see. Vernon? Somebody asked me if I was to think about it and would I have sang Happy Birthday at that party had I known I'd be in this band? It did have to happen the way it did. It had.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we lived so close to each other. We didn't realize that we lived near each other. Right. Exactly. Right. Yes. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Okay.
Now that's the answer to that, or not. I don't know.
No, understandable. It's kind of good to hear that origin story and
himself. That's crazy.
The butterfly effect that it caused throughout both of your lives.
Yeah. Exactly. If not for a few things, I didn't really want to go to that party either, because this is the birthday party of an ex-girlfriend, and it was there, but for the grace of God, Vernon said.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was that's it was serendipitous that we happened to be in the same place at the same time.
Understood.
It was meant to happen.
And what was going through your head? Sorry. What was going through your head at that moment?
get this song over with so I could have some cake. That's all I really was thinking about. Like, okay, happy birthday, good, cake, please. And then I can go back into, because I was sitting in the back, where they put all the coats, watching television. I was like, that's what I do at parties. I'm kind of so socially awkward. So I was sitting in the back with the coats, and somebody says, "Hey, they're looking for you." Why? They want you to sing happy birthday. Okay. Is there cake? Yeah, good. I'll be right there.
It's a mandatory. It has to be mandatory.
Yeah.
Cake is a bargain.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, I sang happy birthday. I got handed a piece of cake, and then Vernon walked up to me and was like, "That was great." I was like, "Was it? I don't know. This cake is really good, though."
JT, what you got?
Oh man, listen, I feel you. When it comes to cake, I'm in.
There you go. See, it was like, it was a buttercream with coconut icing. It was amazing. It was great. See,
Shoot, you had me at coconut. You had coconut on the cake. I'm all in.
yeah.
But I definitely wanted to ask you, and once again, thank you for taking your time out to spend with us.
No problem.
But I wanted to ask you this. So once you guys formed together as a band,
Right.
what was the initial vision for the band?
Well, the band primarily existed before I got there, but its mission statement was that this was going to be a rock band, in the same way that bands like the Bad Brains are a rock band, the same way that Earth, Wind and Fire is a rock band. We were trying really hard to set the boundaries at infinity. Like, this is what comes up when we play. This is what happens when we do what we do. So we spent a great deal of time. Vernon had a rehearsal space in the Bushwick section of Brooklyn, and we would go in there. It's like going into the lab every day, every other day, and see what we come up with. And what comes up, we would then test it on an audience a couple of days later at CBGB's or wherever we decided to play that week or the week after. So we were just building and creating and road testing it as it occurred. And that was most important. And when, there's several different iterations of the band, but when the iteration that came up with myself and Will Calhoun and Muzz Skillings and Vernon, it sounded this particular way. In the same way that we're still playing those same songs, but with the advent of having Doug Wimbish in the band, it changed slightly. So we're constantly trying to improve and expand what it is that we've done and what we want to do next. That was a long answer. That was a long, stupid answer.
No, we like long, detailed answers. I like detailed answers. I got to ask you though, because I was listening to the album today. Time's Up.
Yes.
Man. Woo! Time's Up was an album that just talked about racial tension, being aware, and police brutality. A lot of the things that kind of are happening now. Would I be wrong to say that album holds up today just as much as it did back then?
I think all of the records from back in the day do. I think what's pressing about it, and also kind of sad about it, is that nothing has really changed. No matter what has happened, no matter the advent of who happens to be the leader of the free world or whatever's going on, there's still somebody being screwed over by a landlord. There's still environmental issues that need to be dealt with that aren't dealt with. There are still these things about being aware of where you are and how you are in any given situation. Those things have never changed as long as we've been doing it. And as soon as it does, we'll let you know.
Well, I got a follow-up question for that though, because like when you were working on when you were working on the album,
Right.
throughout the time that you were with Living Color, your vocal coach was Greg Drew, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken.
Still is.
Still is? Okay. What do you think is the best piece of advice that he gave you?
Tell his guitar player to turn down. That's what he said. I said, I'm doing these gigs, and then it takes me at least a day to recover. Okay, here's my advice: tell the guitar player to turn down. And I've been telling him that ever since.
Great advice.
That's great advice. Sometimes greatest advice is common sense.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
No, real talk. But definitely back to what you were saying about time's up. As far as nothing's really changed. My grandfather used to say something like this, and I hate to sound like Shannon Sharp when I say it, but he used to say that nothing's really changed but the date on the calendar.
That's it. And that comes around every year. So yeah, it's very interesting to think that we have, in a sense, sort of been prognosticating, $10 word, and really sort of like and dealing with the issues as they occur in our lives. Rodney King happened on our watch. The LA riots happened on our watch. And at the same time, we watched the highs and lows and lived the highs and lows. Despite what you may think, this lifestyle that we've decided to have didn't come with the perks that kept us out of being who and what we are. We didn't buy a big house on the hill and watch the world burn from on high at all. I lived for the first year of Living Color, I still lived with my parents. And then when I did move out, I moved out around the corner from my parents' house and lived with my brother, which was just as much of a pain in the ass as living with my parents. So,
Right, yeah. Definitely.
I never left Crown Heights I didn't leave Brooklyn until I was in my 30s. So I spent a considerable portion of my life in and around the place I grew up. And, for the most part, the subtlety of the change that was happening was being documented by us. And where we wanted to head and our aspirations for certain things were documented by us. But for the most part, we tried to keep it as prescient and topical to what we were going through, and for whatever reason, we are all from around the New York tri-state area. Vern and I are from Brooklyn. Will Calhoun is from the Bronx. Muzz is from Queens. Doug is from Hartford, Connecticut. These are not. We didn't move to or didn't live in. We didn't move to Hollywood. We didn't do all that stuff. We stayed where we are to keep our eyes on what's happening with us, and sort of really start to try to make that as much of our art as possible. Prognosticate, still $10 word.
I'm adding this up. We at 20 or 30 at this point. So we in the hole.
I'm adding this word to my vocabulary. I'm going to say it to my wife
Right.
as soon as she gets home.
Prognosticating.
So, talking about your being from Brooklyn, do you get to go back to your old stomping grounds now?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
my family still lives in Brooklyn. The place, the house I grew up in is still owned by my family. I go visit there, go spend the holidays there. I go back all the time, and watch what new has changed there. And when I moved out, like I said, when I moved out of Brooklyn, I didn't move to some really sort of fancy schmancy kind of place. I moved into into a town that is just as ethnically diverse as the one I left. I looked for home in a new place, basically, and I found it.
Excellent.
So,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So speaking of your bandmates and how you're talking about them, how's your relationship with them, and do you still keep in contact with them?
Well, Vernon's right here, still, right there. Look at him! Look at him! Look at him! Look at him! We actually got a gig. We're playing tonight.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I'm
This
sorry.
is crazy.
No, that's all good. We're playing tonight, and we're out here in Long Island for basically one of the companies that we work with is having its 50th anniversary party, and we've been asked to play. So we're here doing that.
Okay.
I don't know where Will and Doug went to. I think they're probably out in the hall eating, like everybody else. Which I'm going to interrupt you as soon as that happens. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to eat. So yeah, but that's what we're all here. We're all around each other. We're still playing. We were on the road. We've been on the road for the last a year and a couple of months. We were out with the band Extreme for the past most of 2024. We just got back from South America a little while ago, and we haven't stopped. We're trying to figure out what we're gonna do for our next album. So we're gonna be in the lab working on some new stuff really soon.
Oh wow!
Speaking of being in the lab, like I am a gamer. And
as am I, and so are my children, and so is everybody I know. But go on.
Well, I am a gamer, so it was kind of fulfilling to know that you had done Believe in Myself, the theme of Tales, which was on Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2.
Wow, how you got that, I'll never know. My kids found that from me. Found it. It was like, I know that voice. Yeah. It's like, how did you do that? It's like, when did you do that? It's like, way before you were born. Yeah. So yeah. That was fun. A friend of mine who was amazing guitar player told me about this, and it's like, I want you to do some stuff for this. And it's like, okay, there's so much stuff, and I'm sure that that I probably don't know, things I can't remember I did, and that was one of them. Until somebody played it for me. It's like, oh, it is me. Oh yeah, I remember that. I did that in California, and they all rushed back at me. But to think about what did I do exactly and how did I get it done, couldn't tell you.
But now I was trying to piece something together, and I thought I was going crazy trying to put this together. But like, you obviously have new music out, and
Yes.
You're also Sonic Universe. Did you get the name off of the video game?
No, as a matter of fact, you've been sent a cease and desist.
God damn.
From Sonic, because we named it Sonic Universe, and there's a few things within the Sonic Universe. Obviously, they said we had to stop doing it. Now, the reason why I called it Sonic Universe was my writing partner on that project, his name is Mike Orlando. He's a guitar player in that. Amazing guitar players. And one of the things I knew about his father, which is it's fortuitous. You said something, another $20 word, fortuitous. Write that down.
That's 60.
We getting $100 word next, I promise you.
Mike's father recently just passed away, and but his father was a bodybuilder. He competed in the Mr. Universe contest, and the idea was really I wanted to call it Mr. Universe because in honor of his father, but we couldn't do that because there was another band called Mr. Universe. It was like, okay, so how about Sonic Universe? That works. I like that idea. Let's go for it. And we put it out and we checked it. And what was funny, we checked to see if there's anything that anyone can say about it. And it's like, no, it's free and clear. You can go for it. Until the record came out and Nintendo called.
Ooh, don't mess with them.
Yeah.
And then, so we had to change it. And then this is the stupidest name I think we could ever come up with. It was called Corey Glover's Universe.
Right.
Now, Corey Glover's Universe are my children, not this band. Okay, so that's that. I hate that name. And if we ever get the chance to do another record, I'm changing the name yet again to something else that somebody else sue me for. Okay.
we got a follow-up. We got 2 follow-up questions to that. JT,
Okay.
I'm gonna let you go for it first, and I have something right after that.
So speaking of, you mentioned cease and desist.
Mm-hmm.
The band itself had a little issue with Fox and Living Color for not only basically stealing the whole entire design, but part of the name. So how did that work out, and how do you feel about that? Because the show was great. You know, as a kid, I enjoyed it, but it was confusing for me because I know the band and I know the show. So how did you guys take that?
It was confusing to us too. Couple of years before the show was on the air, we got a call from one of the producers of the show, and they wanted to use. We have a song on the first record called the theme song is called "What's Your Favorite Color, Baby?" What's your favorite color? Living Color. And I was like, sure, see what if it works. But you know, we're not really sort of trying to be someone's theme song, and we certainly don't want that to confuse us and whatever this becomes. So they turned down using our song, but the name of the show was originally Living Color. It's like it's, you know, the reason why we named it Living Color, Vernon was very enamored by, you know, back in the day when television went from black and white to color. NBC would say this.
We can hear you. We're good. You're good.
Good. My headphones and my glasses died. Anyway, the NBC would say this next program is in living color, and it was like a peacock, and its feathers would fan out, and it's all red, white, it's just, you know, all the Roy G. Biv and all that stuff, and that's where the name of the band came from. And I would imagine that's where the producers of that show sort of came up with the idea of the show.
Understood. So obviously you guys were already making your way throughout the industry, and then come to find out, I'd say it was around 2005, but it became commercial in 2011. CM Punk decided he wanted to use Cult of Personality. Now, he had left WWE in 2014 and came back last year, but I heard a rumor that they wanted to like do a mock version of Cult of Personality and not give you guys the credit for it, but Punk fought to make sure you guys still got the rights to it. Did you guys have to re-record the song?
Yeah,
and
versions of the song already recorded that we used for him. But you know, if you know the history of CM Punk, he came from Backyard. and he was using the song then in Backyard. So when he went up to WWE, they said, okay, so we'll give you a mock-up of your theme song and we can do it this way. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not using anything but the song. And for no reason other than the fact that it had a sort of emotional significance to him. When he was a kid living out just outside of Chicago, he was in Little League. And his Little League coach, progressive as they might have been, would play Cult of Personality when the team came out onto the field. And it gave him a good feeling because CM Punk's whole history in his family, it wasn't always great. And this was a happy moment for him. These are always a happy moment for him. So he associates that song with the good feeling he feels. And we got to meet him, and there's an even better feeling. Like, he's a good guy. He's a really, really good guy. Which brings me to my question.
Here we go.
Oh.
We knew it was coming.
So Punk left Backyard, went to WWE, left WWE, went to AEW, sort of semi-retired for a bit, tried to do Ultimate Fighting for a minute. Dumb idea. And then went back to the WWE. As a talent, as a wrestler, I don't see him wrestling as much as he is sort of a talking head, and he talks a lot of smack. I want someone please to explain to me. I'm gonna get in trouble. Shut up. I want someone to explain to me what is the deal with Roman Reigns and all that stuff and them, and why is The Rock sometimes a part of it? So
the better question is, can't you call Punk and ask him?
Let's go.
Yes, I could ask him, but that would I'd have a neck injury.
Oh.
I don't know if he's wrestling or not wrestling. He is still whoop my ass. How about that?
What we gotta have Punk on the show. I would love to have Punk on the show, but to basically explain the reason why was because CM Punk had cut a promo in 2011, which is the infamous pipe bomb promo. When he was working with Paul Heyman before he came, because he was working with Paul Heyman at OVW, he was a Paul Heyman guy. Mentioned that in 2011, was with Paul Heyman in 2013, which is interesting enough. You happened to be there when it happened, so you were performing at WrestleMania 29 when it happened.
Exactly.
Roman became the guy who had his family behind him, had the Usos, the bloodline with Paul Heyman, the wise man, who had already been dealing with the Anoa'i family back in the day. Right. Cody Rhodes comes along and basically throws wrenches into the plan, and The Rock comes in because The Rock is basically the high chief in real life.
So they're all Samoan, yes.
Yeah, minus Sami Zayn. Now, where The Rock fits into it is that he has history with Roman, obviously, and the original main event of WrestleMania 40 was supposed to be Roman and The Rock, but because the fans rallied for Cody, Rock took a sidestep, but he still had a tag match against Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes with Roman at WrestleMania. The Rock pins Cody, but Cody pins Roman and takes the title off him. The Rock comes out on Raw, that gives Cody a handshake and puts like something in his hand and basically said, hey, you know what that means. I'll see you later. But he whooped Cody's ass in the follow-up to WrestleMania.
Okay.
And now when he sees Roman teaming with Cody because Roman is out of the Roman's bloodline kind of turned on him, like Solo got his own little guys or whatever. He needed a favor. Nobody was going to team up with him. So Paul Heyman decided the best person to go to was somebody he knew he could trust, which was CM Punk, because on an episode of SmackDown, Paul Heyman had asked CM Punk to save him from the bloodline because he knew the bloodline was going to jump him. There you go. We're not.
And now Paul apparently owes him a favor.
Yeah.
And nobody knows what that favor is.
Well, you see them when I see them together. It's like something is going to happen. Something bad is going to happen. Now, I don't know if this is going to usher in the second or third or fourth retirement of CM Punk. Look.
Got more retirements in Jordan.
They may do something to sort of hasten his departure from the sport and go at as a commentator or something like that.
To say this, listen, CM Punk, if you're watching this, please come on the show. We would all love to talk to you one day. I don't know how the heck I can get that to happen, but that leads me to my next question before I pass it to the ladies and JT. Are we going to see another Living Color WrestleMania performance?
The check has to be better than the last one.
Yesterday's price ain't today's price. Not whatsoever.
Nope. So
inflation is up.
If that's the case, if we're going to do that, it's going to require some negotiations.
I feel it. I mean, shoot, the price of everything done went up, and the company's in a better position than it was in 2013. So WWE cut the check. Yesterday's price ain't today's price. Run those numbers up.
Right.
And also, ladies and gentlemen, if you are going to run those numbers up, make sure you go to www.shop.com/humble-roses. We are a official affiliate of WWE Shop, so make sure you cop something. Get a CM Punk shirt. I'm surprised they didn't put a Code of Personality Living Color shirt and give you guys credit for it. Would have been nice.
That would have been amazing.
I mean, I don't know how they got. I want to know how they got It's Clobbering Time away from Marvel.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. DC on the way. I'm sorry, Marvel will be on the way to get their money. Disney don't play it.
Don't play that. Disney don't play that.
They do not.
No, they don't.
Don't play with that mouse. Don't play with the mouse. Don't play that.
Yeah. Although the mouse is retiring soon, but yeah.
Go ahead, Nessa. I'm so sorry. I got more questions, but you guys get your questions out.
As we're talking about cult and personality, was it ever in your mind that you thought that you would win a Grammy for that song and a MTV Music Award for it? No,
not at all. We just thought, this is a good song. It's a really good song. I'm glad people like it. And it's amazing how long it's been in the public eye. Think about this. That song came out in 1989. How long ago is that?
I was born that year. I'm 35.
Right. So, a song that has stood the test of time for 35. Think about it. I can't say enough good things about it. It bought me a house. It helped me, it bought me a car. It wasn't a good car, but it bought me a car. And it solidified our lives in that we hope that we had to continue doing what we were doing. That this helped us realize we are on the right track. If we can create something like that has stood for as long as it has, we have every right to keep doing what we're doing, and we should take every opportunity we can to improve upon that.
Absolutely.
You know, I to this day, the guitar solo on Cult of Personality is one of the most amazing things I've ever heard in my life. I was there. I sat there as it happened. Ding, exactly.
No, that, and I am going to agree with you when it does come to it. That guitar solo alone, when I first heard it, that to me, the drive to it, and it changes twice on the song. And I want to say in the re-recorded version, I almost think I hear a third time. I could be wrong.
We have versions of it because we did a version for Grand Theft Auto.
Mm-hmm.
We re-recorded it, and it ultimately became Punk's tune. And then there's the original. So there are at least 6 to 8 different guitar solos on all of them, and each and every one of them is amazing in and of itself.
I'm telling you, that's probably one of the reasons why I even attempted to pick up a guitar. But then, I noticed, nah, fam, that's not your thing. You better stick to the trombone and the tuba. Leave it alone.
Just a second. I want you to... Those fingers create magic.
No, literally, that's magic, man. Like that song, like you said, has stood the test of time. And you all, with that very song, got to be one of the first Black bands to appear on MTV with the music video. Up to then, it was just Michael Jackson.
And if it weren't for Michael Jackson, we would not have been on MTV. So we had... Well, Cult of Personality wasn't the first single that we put out. The first thing we put out was a song called Middle. And we were like, you got to put out Cult of Personality. You got to put out Cult of Personality. It's like, yeah, it's a good song. And we were getting, then they were calling the phone. Like, DJs would play it, and the phones would light up as to what was that song and where can I find it? What's going on? So on the strength of that, we decided to make a video. And we had put it in there. Again, just like the radio, they put it on late at night when the audiences wasn't as big as it was as prime time, but they were still getting that kind of buzz. And if somebody at the record company, because we were on the same record company as Michael Jackson, we were on Epic Records with Michael Jackson, and someone in the office of Epic Records called up Michael Jackson's people and said, do you mind if we do something? And whatever you do, just do it. So some exec at Epic threatened MTV. It's like, you want to see more? Then did a real mafia move. You want more Michael Jackson? It'd be a shame if you didn't play some Living Color with that.
What?
Whoa.
I mean, that's straight. That's Corleone's.
Really. Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's...
Well, I mean,
that was
JT, you just remember, MTV wasn't the only thing. Like, remember, they were on Arsenio Hall too.
Yes, and that to me, for me in Arsenio, if you are watching, as a kid, I would stay up and risk getting my ass whooped just to watch Arsenio Hall show. And as a kid, I got to see you guys on the Arsenio Hall show. You guys were performing. I seen you walking through the crowd, trying to get the crowd hype and all that. What was an experience like being on the Arsenio Hall show? Because up until that time, there were no black late night TV hosts.
Well, that was the goal. Like by the time we got to the Arsenio Hall show, Arsenio was having a time. And what was interesting, the night before we were scheduled to go on, Arsenio had a long conversation with Farrakhan. Had a sit-down interview with Farrakhan on the Arsenio Hall show. So there were eyes watching to see what he was going to do next. And fortunately, what he was going to do next was have us on. And that sort of helped, and then we did Saturday Night Live when that, during a time when you didn't see much of us on there either. And our television performances turned a lot of heads and put a lot of eyes on us, which was good.
Yes, absolutely. Seeing so much blackness represented at the time was so inspiring. Shout out BK Spades. Shout out, Coach. That's another Culture Clash Network, bro, right there. Society Pop Culture 101. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Corey. That's right. Ding. My bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Pizza rolls already? No, but go ahead, Angel. Oh, I know you have a question.
Since we are talking about like processes of songs and how it's changed a lot in culture, especially with the community that you've been around for a very, very long time. What was the writing process for Cult of Personality?
We created Cult of Personality in an afternoon. We started working on this riff, and this riff turned into something we really enjoyed. Vernon has a notebook crammed with lyrics and all kinds of stuff, and he had this one thing he thought was very interesting. And so we got to rehearsal, say at noon. By 5 o'clock, the song was pretty much done. And we were getting a really, really sort of visceral. Aha, there we go.
Okay, $50 word. $50 word. We almost there.
Almost.
What you mean we did it? That's $120. I've been counting. Keep going.
Well, I was just a la carte. Go ahead.
Like people reacted to that song really positively during the time before we even got signed to a major record deal. So that was really, really like 5-6 hours and came up with a whole song in the whole cloth. And if not for a few changes by our producer at the time, Ed Stasium, we would sing the chorus first and then the verse instead of the verse first, chorus. So he changed that around, and the song, as they say, is history. And
go ahead.
Go on.
No. I want to know. Please finish. I didn't know if you were done. I'm sorry.
No,
go ahead. You sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
Man, I apologize because my excitement is like going through the roof because I really want to ask you about this. So, Disciples of Verity,
yes,
put out an album which I thought was fucking amazing, and that was Pragmatic Sanction. Oh my Lord, there was so many elements. It was like Adrenaline Mob meets Living Color. Like
right.
That's the vibe that I got for it. What was the thought process and the artistic direction behind Pragmatic Sanction?
I got tricked into doing it. I was a friend of mine who was in it. There's Doug. Say hi.
Hey.
The band's here. So my friend George Pond, bass player and chief sort of songwriter. We were at what I don't know if anybody's been been to or heard of the NAM show, National Association of Music Merchants. Basically, it's this trade show for a bunch of for make people making music and that kind of stuff. So I was staying with them while I was out there for the NAM show in Anaheim, California. And George kept saying, I got this project I'm looking for you to do. I need a couple of songs. You mind if I do a couple of songs? You can do a couple of songs? Not a problem. I'll do a couple of songs for you. And I did this. A couple of weeks later, I did the songs. It's like, I got a few more I think we could work on. It's like, you want to do, can you do that? Yeah, I'll be there. No problem. And next thing I know, it's an album. And it's like, okay, so we're gonna have some rehearsals for the show for a show of some kind. It's like, a what of who? So I got tricked into being in this band, but
what?
Not this one, not yours.
No, I gotta clip that one. That was going on Twitter.
That's hilarious. Say what?
No, not you.
But Corey Pierce from God Forbid on there, and George and Eddie and everybody that's in the band. It was fun. It's fun. It's an amazing sort of like prog metal kind of thing, and I love it.
Absolutely.
Wow.
All right, couple more questions, and we got to wrap up because he's got a show coming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about a lot of some of your accomplishments, albums. What was your aha moment? Like, this was, we made it. I made it.
I don't remember. No, I do, sort of. There are certain days when you're in sort of high visibility. When we first started out, like I said, I lived with my parents, and I took the subway to wherever it was I was going to. I took mass transit wherever I was going. And sometimes I would forget that I was on TV the night before. So you're sitting on the subway and somebody does a double take at you. It's like, uh-oh. Once we were on the road with the Rolling Stones, and we happened to stop in Raleigh, North Carolina. And the hotel was this place called the Crabtree Mall in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I walked into the mall because I was gonna, I need to pick up some things. I need to send, this is before email, so I was sending cards home to friends and family and stuff like that. So the Hallmark store. Now, unbeknownst, that's not as big enough. Unbeknownst, I didn't have a hat on, and as you recall, I had a lot of hair then. That was somewhat recognized. So I walked into this Hallmark store, and I walk out of the store and tell people ask me for an autograph. It's like, okay, here's your autograph. I gotta go. I go into the store next door to that, and then some more people showed up. It was like 3 people turned into 6 people, 6 people turned into 12 people, 12 people turned into 24 people, 24 turned into 50 people, and so on and so on and so on, until it was a large, substantial crowd sitting in front of whatever the hell the store was, and me. And I was like, I need to get out of here. And the security came and was like, you have to stop this. I'm not doing anything to make this happen. I'm just standing here. So I had to have a security escort. Long story short, I had a security escort me out of the mall back to my hotel room. And needless to say, which is very telling and very funny, is like, if I put on a hat, if I had a hat that covered that encompassed my hair, no one would recognize me. Down, it was it became a thing. So
Wow.
that's when I knew there's something going on here.
That was that moment.
That was
Excellent.
Nice.
That was the aha moment.
that. Mhm.
All right. So, speaking of aha moments and albums and stuff, I wanted to ask you, which song of your albums is like your baby? It's like the one that you're just like, oh, I'm even other than Cult of Personality. Obviously, we know that you love that song, but what is your baby? Like, what other song is just like, oof, like
Asking, what's your favorite child?
It's-
It really is. It really is.
It really, like, which one would you let die?
hey, whoa, I did not go that far.
God.
Asking, really, what you're asking me? Which is your favorite song? Which one do you really like?
Or you could say album if you want.
No, it's not even an album. I can't even tell you that. It's like they all have a significance in one way or another based on very small, insignificant things. Sometimes, maybe it was a song that I realized I could hit this note. Speaking of which, speaking of favorite child, it could be, it could have been, how we all came about making the song and what happened when we made the song. There is no favorite song. There is no such thing as a favorite song.
Understood.
Man, talk about Knock at the Cabin. But that's a M. Night Shyamalan reference if people watch it and get it. But my last question for you is this. We got all of these biopics that have came out over the years, more to come. Of course, we can go down the line. We got the Temptations. We got the Little Richard story, Straight Outta Compton, All Eyes on Me. Do you see possibly one day in Hollywood, if the band allows it, if you guys allow it, would you all like to see a biopic of the band?
I want to know who'd play us. That's all. I don't.
Yeah.
I want to know who they want us to be. Who is going to play us?
Okay, so if that be the case, who would you pick to play you?
He play himself.
We put it out there.
Yeah.
They can de-age me.
CGI is amazing.
Well, okay. That does it. Oh man. This has been like one of the funnest interviews I have ever done. Normally we have a segment where we give our guests their roses, but we've given you your roses throughout this time. You have been a wonderful guest. The band has been incredible. You are such a down-to-earth individual, and you have ushered the band has ushered in an era. You have ushered in so many different elements of your talent, and you're still sharing it with us today. Thank you for everything, man.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it, Dallas. I appreciate this. Thank you, folks. I'm glad to have done this.
I appreciate that too. And hey, if you ever need a rapper for a song, let me know. I got you. I do. I will never charge. I will never charge. Never charge. Yo, but we're gonna, after this, we're gonna promote a lot of Corey stuff. So Twitter, Facebook, be on the lookout. You're gonna get tired of seeing us post everything.
Gotcha.
This has been the humble.
Is the best. I promised I'd talk shit about her, but I got nothing bad to say about her.
Yeah, Meredith. Yeah, she's the best. Meredith is the GOAT, man. She is the GOAT. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out to the Humble Roses podcast. I will see you guys next Tuesday and Wednesday. We got some stuff planned for you guys. This has been the Humble Roses show. Angel, Nessa, JT, and Mr. should go in the fucking Hall of Fame himself with the band, Corey Glover.
Let him know, Dallas. Let him know.
They need to be in the fucking Hall of Fame. They need
Yeah.
to be in the.
Y'all ain't start picketing outside the Hall of Fame.
Oh, don't worry about it. Shoot, I'm right down the street. I could pull up.
I'm only 20 minutes away from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Guess we're flying that way.
Yeah. Oh, we are too.
Yeah,
I'm at the boycott it the same way they was boycotting on Sal's.
Right.
ladies and gentlemen, this has been the stream.